a childhood picture of me coming back on a family holiday in the south of France, visiting Paris. My mom always used to make the clothes for me, my younger brother and sister, and well, you clearly see where I got my fashion sense from, right? So I was really very much as a child attracted to beauty, and that's the reason that I decided to study fashion design. Unfortunately, I really quickly found out that the fashion industry is not at all beautiful. Maybe the external side, you know, the glitter and glamour, the images that we know from the catwalk. But the inside, I would actually call maybe even rotten, you know, the negative impact that the industry has on the people and planet. So, well, for example, here, the Atacama Desert in Chile that is completely polluted with our secondhand textiles, even sometimes with the labels on it. Well, you probably are aware of these types of issues. Enter world-renowned couture designer Ronald van der Kamp. He is probably a pioneer when it comes to sustainable couture. And he was completely fascinated 1.5 years ago. He already works a lot with discarded textiles, as dead stock, for example, for his collections. And he was totally fascinated by the felt that is created by iDid, a company here in the Netherlands that creates felt, design felt from discarded textiles. And then really the textiles that are not being able to be recycled or reused in different ways. So the lowest of the lowest quality of the clothes that we wear and that end up in trash. And the felt he was so fascinated by it that he called iDid and said, listen, I want to work with this material. So he got a few pieces of the fabric and created the first prototype, which was the molded corset worn by Gwen Stefani about 1.5 years ago for a magazine shoot. And just to give you a bit of context, Ronald van der Kamp dresses celebrities like Michelle Obama and Emma Watson and Celine Dion, which is great, of course, but the main thing is that these people, they don't choose his designs, his dresses, because they're sustainable, but because they're beautiful, right? So it's really important to keep that in mind, that we're living in a society where we want to look beautiful and we buy a lot of clothes and we end up being very unsustainable with that. So then Ronald and Mireille from iDid, standing here, they got together and they developed Treasure, from trash to treasure. And that was the start of a very nice collaboration, but that was not all, because then I got on board, and then another colleague, Ellen, she's sitting right here, also got on board. Ellen works with Symphony, a textile collector and sorter company here in the Netherlands. And so together with the four of us here pictured at Amsterdam Fashion Week last year in September, we said we want to do something with this, on the one hand, the power of the visibility that Ronald van der Kamp creates, with a lot of PR and media attention that he attracts with his designs and the people that he dresses. And on the other hand, the strength of Symphony, for example, on the textile collecting and sorting part of the value chain, and iDid as a pioneering company, recycling that textile into new materials. Because in the end, of course, we want to not have all this textile end up in trash and in nature. And then my part, coming from the Hague University of Applied Science, with the Circular Business Research Group, we want to, of course, create a business model around it, because we can create something beautiful, but we also need to make it marketable and sell it. So that is, well, from the corset that we just saw, we moved on to the next phase, actually, Paris Couture Week, July 2021, where Ronald created out of white care felts. So these were previously uniforms from hospital employees, created these laser-cutted rings and basically a conversation piece, as we call it, because this is, of course, not wearable. We cannot sit here and wear this dress, but it sparks a conversation. And I think this is really important, that we have this artifact that lets us imagine new worlds. And then we moved on again to Paris Couture Week earlier this year, where Ronald created this piece which was worn then by Camila Cabello, a Cuban-American singer, for the launch of her new album in April this year. Camila Cabello has about 60 million Instagram followers. I'd never heard of her, but I'm not Gen Z, obviously. So where we are today is that we want to create a wearable cloth out of these textiles, because so far the felt is not wearable, maybe for a one-time moment like that, but it's not. We cannot really wear it on our skin. So IDIT has been making accessories from it, which are amazing. But we want to take the material to the next level, not just to attract consumers to this material, and to the fact that our Dutch government, of course, wants to be 100% circular in 2050. So we have a lot of work to do, because at the moment only 1% of textiles is in fact circular. So we have to work hard. But of course also that it becomes a business-to-business case, right? So that it's going to be a material that is interesting, attractive for brands to use in their own collections. So that is really our aim. We're now maybe halfway the current projects. So we're really now in the factory that IDIT just opened in The Hague, working on the felt. Ronald van der Kamp is there with his design and imagination mind, just working on the machines, creating different versions of that felt. As we speak, he was there on Monday again, and we really hope that we can scale this idea and help the industry to become more circular. So that's it.
Kim Poldner, everyone. Can I invite you to join me here? So the idea is that, for instance, I wanted to say next year, but soon I would be able, and you would be able to sit here wearing like regular clothes, not just high-end fashion for Paris Couture, but actual clothes that we can wear on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes, we need to make it mainstream.
Yes, we need to make, I think, a better fashion industry completely mainstream, otherwise we're not going to survive,
yes.
I guess. So if that is the idea of Treasure, could you tell me more about the business model then that you're working on?
Yes. Well, basically, maybe I can do a little bit of promotion. We created these bags for Amsterdam Fashion Week that we're actually going to be able to offer for sale very soon via the IDIT web shop. So we're looking at, okay, what type of customers does this product attract, bit the marketing communication side. Is it something that IDIT is, for example, also working on a take-back system? We heard already from the previous speakers about it. Can the felt be, when it's sold to the consumer, can it be then taken back by IDIT and recycled again? Although it's difficult because the fibers are very short by that time. Yeah. So we're really working on that business model side of Treasure in the next 1.5 years.
So you're looking into different venues to be able to maybe sell items, both attract money and investment by that?
As well. Yeah.
Because that's probably also going to be important to be able to continue.
Yeah. I think it's really innovation on a technological, economical design level. So it's really multi-layered as such. But in the end, the idea, so now we're going to be testing B2C, so business to consumer. But in the end, it's really important that we can take it to the market, that it becomes an attractive fabric. But we're not there yet. We don't know yet what the business model is going to look like. That's still work in progress.
Because you say you have 1.5 years for this. Feels slightly short to me. Okay.
Yes. We're open to follow-up funding.
Right. So I thought maybe this is the moment to sort of reach out, because that is the idea, to continue the project after 1.5 years, because you're not going to say, okay, wrap a bow around it, done, everyone, good luck.
I mean, we're really experimenting. So the limited collection of bags is like an experiment with, finding out what type of business model would work. And definitely we need more time after that. We're already very grateful for our funders. Some of them are here in the room, so thank you.
It's amazing. It's so important because...
But now we can, we're looking for what's going to be the next step, for sure.
Yeah, because this is all, of course, very, I think, crucial to take these steps to be able to find out, how would it be able to flourish and how
Yes.
can it actually work.
Yes.
But then it all still needs to be implemented because only about 1% now of all fabrics is circular. So there is
Yeah.
this massive
Yeah.
task.
Well, and that's also the hesitance that many brands have.
Yeah.
They want to go circular, but they don't find recycled textiles attractive enough to include in their collections.
Or the quality is not good enough because
Exactly.
the fibers get shorter and shorter
Exactly.
every time you
Yeah.
use them. So,
So
that's
then again, this aspect of beauty comes in. It needs
Yeah.
to be attractive. This industry is so visual.
it is,
Yeah.
and that makes it more complex. It really matters what it looks like as well.
Absolutely.
So what are you wearing right now yourself? Well,
Yeah.
it's inspiring.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you so much. This shirt is from Ada Zanderton, a sustainable designer from the UK that I've collaborated with for many years. And the suit was made for me for my inaugural address 1.5 years ago from organic cotton from a company in Uruguay.
Nice.
Inspired. Well, I designed it myself, basically, together with
Well
the
done.
person who made it for me.
I just want to show that it is possible. Has anyone seen any of the other drives of this week? Maybe. Yes. Does anything sort of stand out to you from the way I look? It does. It's the same. Yes. So I'm wearing the same the entire week for every show. Thank you so much.
Reuse.
This is difficult to do, for instance, in television or on stages, or it's not generally accepted still. It needs to be different, especially for women, I might add. I was just telling this story to someone here today that an Australian news anchor did this amazing experiment where he wore the same suit every day for a year and no one said anything or noticed, whereas his female colleagues
Yes.
got so much stick for maybe now and again wearing the same thing or the way they look in general. So I'm doing an experiment here by wearing the same thing every day. It's secondhand, the entire outfit, and I just really want to try and make this statement that we produce 100 billion new clothes each year. We don't need them, and it needs to be acceptable and accepted to just reusing the items that you have. So thank you for noticing. I'm so happy. Oh, thank you. I didn't mean to toot my own horn. I just want to sort of try and get different ways of thinking about the fashion industry across. I'm sure you have some questions. Yes, many. I'm going from the back to the front, so 1 and 2 for the people that I see now. Go for your Walk of Fame. Thank you.
And in the meantime, thank you for bringing that up on gender equality. That's what I actually wanted to say. I think the circular economy discourse is very much about design, business models, technological innovation, but don't forget about diversity and inclusivity.
And inclusion, yeah, for sure.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Hello, good morning. My
Good
name is
morning.
Pieter van Os, working for the circular design program Circo. Arendt and Auping participated in it. Marina was referring to it. Thanks for your presentation. The question is for you, but also for the others. You are the front runners. You are doing inspiring things. You are also making progress with circularity. But how can your experience and your examples inspire others within the industry to do the same? Because I think that's the next challenge.
Thank you so much. If we want to do 2 questions, maybe not the entire.
Yeah. I
road.
hope I already gave a little bit of an answer to that question. I mean, one way is to get into social media to, attract and engage other types of audiences like Gen Z and millennials. So we've been experimenting with TikTok, did not work, Instagram. I think those things are very important to look at, because otherwise we keep on talking in a little bubble of experts and researchers.
Okay, but that's
And also make it mainstream and go out of your own research.
Yeah, so that's addressing the end user and not the companies within the industry, because they are also important to make that transition.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I think, I hope that when brands see Ronald Vanderkamp is doing this kind of stuff, is reaching through all his, contacts, networks, social media engagement, is reaching other types of users, but also companies that are thinking, oh, wait a minute, that's an interesting fabric, we can use it. That's my hope. But
I hope it works.
Thank you so
Inshallah.
much. Question number 2.
Thank you, Kim, for your nice talk. Jeroen van Einde, Professor of Applied Sciences, Artes University of the Arts. The previous speaker showed a very intriguing picture to me, circularity for dummies. I'm always call me a dummy. If I understand your story well, you are only postposing the waste. So what does the material needs to get in stage 3 of the dummy model?
With the lid on the bin because there is no waste. Yeah, well, thank you for that question. Of course, it would be amazing not to have this textile waste. So, I mean, you and I have been working on bio-based materials for circular fashion. How awesome would it be if we can grow our own textiles in our vegetable gardens in the future? So I'm, very much hoping for that type of regenerative future, trying to practice it myself by, digging my hands into the black gold. But we are dealing at the moment with this amount of waste, 300 million kilograms in the Netherlands alone. So it is probably a phase 2 or a horizon 2 solution, and not, because again, also, as we said already, the fibers are so short, so we're really struggling also to think of bringing the felt back into the loop. So yeah, that's what it is.
Thank you.
The reality.
It's reality, but it's an inspiring one. Thank you
I hope
so much.
Yes.
Dr. Kim Poldner.